Welcome back to the Brighter Side of Blue, our worldwide podcast coming to you from Columbo's Cafe and Tavern in Dogtown, St. Louis. We are powered by Schicker Ford of St. Louis. I'm worried about you, too. It is where the stories are told, legends are honored, sacrifices are remembered, and balls are broken. I'm Danny.
I'm Tommy.
I'm JJ.
Producer John in the house. A little delay there. You're all right.
You stared at me. It made me nervous, man.
I thought JJ was going to say something else.
I thought I fucked something up. Like, am I supposed to say something?
Don't worry. It's coming.
Right. Is it my turn?
I wasn't expecting to say that.
We didn't go through this in
JJ,
practice.
like
Right.
Hey, we're going to start off on a slight somber note, and we talk about legends are honored here. Steve Holley, the executive director of Guns N' Hoses, has passed away. I was at his wake earlier. Steve was talking about a legend. With him as the executive director, every year well over $1 million was donated from the Guns N' Hoses fights to the Backstoppers, where the Backstoppers, we all know what they do for those that lost their life in the line of duty and this and that. But Steve also took it a little step further. He was in contact and very familiar with all the widows, all the surviving family members. Steve knew them, talked to them, coordinated with them. What do they need? He was always there he knew them all.
Right. And just how many generations of police families Steve affected is immeasurable. I mean, he just, that whole organization, Guns N' Hoses, and he really took it, took the lead of it. But there's so many other people that are volunteers that are part of that organization that they're going to step up and take his spot.
It's going to take a couple. He's irreplaceable.
Well, Jerry Leshock is big. He's been on the podcast a bunch of times. He is tight. He's struggling right now. He told me this is. I talked to him. I said, "You doing okay?"
Hard.
He goes, "I'm struggling." I mean, they were thick as thieves. They're both so involved in Guns N' Hoses, and actually. Steve Holley was the matchmaker. He did all the he was he was great at judging fighters and making a good choice on who fights who for the Guns N' Hoses. And Jerry, I know, is thick, is tight. They were just so tight. And I know Jerry's hurt.
I had the honor of playing many poker games at Steve Holley's house. His wife Debbie was a gracious host for us knuckleheads in there and playing poker. And I can tell you this, that being in his actual home, he wasn't most proud of being the executive director of Guns N' Hoses. He was most proud of being Pop.
Really?
And, 100%. I mean, the executive director was something that he did. What he was Pop.
Okay.
And he loved his family and his grandkids, and that's who Steve Holley was.
Well, you can imagine how much he did for others, how much he would do for his family.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like I said,
so he will be missed, and our thoughts.
Backstoppers will miss him. He made so much money for Backstoppers.
Our thoughts and prayers are with his wife Debbie and the family, and he will be missed.
Right, and all the volunteers and the people that were close to him. That hit everybody hard. That was on social media for a while, and he got a lot of love on social media, which was well deserved, and it was neat to see.
Yep, very, very much so. So back to the podcast. We do need you to like, subscribe, and share. Click the button, make us grow. We still haven't hit that 100 million mark, but we will. We're getting really close. It's scarily close. So it will be a big party. It'll be the biggest party that anybody's seen.
We skyrocketed to 97 million. And then kind of plateaued.
Well, we're plateauing, man.
We're plateauing, so we're kind of we're trying to get to that 100
Well,
million.
how many? Where were we at that one reel that we had? It's almost at third.
Oh, the moon landing?
Yes.
The moon landing went, I think it's at like 16, 17 million.
No, it's more than that, bro.
Is it?
Are you kidding me?
No, it's way more. I think it's
People
way more.
love that shit.
You didn't tell me that.
Yes. I should look
Actually,
it up.
I got a chiropractor for you and John that I'm going to show the video of this chiropractor that does some crazy stuff to fix your back.
Yeah.
And I think you two would go to him and believe that shit.
Believe what? What?
Just how he does the chiropractor stuff.
You don't believe in chiropractors either?
Well, not the way this guy does it. He doesn't touch you. He does it through a healing, and he
Oh, yeah.
Like a
talks to your
Reiki?
body.
Like a Reiki?
Right. He talks to your body, and he gets answers from your body. And I think people that believe that we landed on the moon should go to that guy.
If I go to the chiropractor, I want to hear something pop.
I do.
No.
I go to. I got a
works.
Joel, my chiropractor. I go to him whenever my back goes out. I go to him. He adjusts me, and I'm good for. I haven't been back for probably 2 years now. But
I listened to a one of those back surgeons, and he was saying about what he thought about chiropractors. And he was saying that if you go in for like lower back issues and
that's my problem.
And they do realignments, that he's good for that. He says, do not let him fuck with your neck. You know, like pop your neck. And he goes, the risk reward on that is way.
I agree with that.
Right.
I agree with that. You're not twisting my head.
My guy doesn't do that.
Yeah, you're not twisting my head.
I trust Joel so much that I let him do it.
You do?
Well, yeah, my neck's fine. So if he wants to do a little alignment, my back's good.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, you're going to be limping and
Let
a
me just tell you
hunchback.
something. My back, my back would be so bad that I used I used to use a corkball bat when I'd go out, and I'd use that to balance myself. And I'd go, and when him, I mean, it would be horrible, dude. I'm telling him, being an athlete, it's tough on your lower back.
Why a corkball bat?
It is.
Because that's the only thing I had, dude. Because I had a corkball bat. But then I'd go to Joel, and he'd set me up, boom, pop me, and like it kind of scared me when he did it. But,
No.
But then when I got out of there, I would be.
You let him fuck with for real?
Yeah, I trust him. That's how much I trust him.
Okay.
All right.
But he's good. He's a good, and I highly recommend him. Anybody, email me and I'll tell you where
Joel.
he's at.
Just look up Joel. Google Joel.
I don't know his last name.
Google
but-
Joel the chiropractor.
Yeah, well, he's in the right where the South County. He's over in Lundberg,
Yeah.
Ronnie's Plaza.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah,
By the corkball stadium.
by the
But what
corkball.
we got coming up, Danny, is we're going to talk. We're going to let our guy John, who's probably the most educated at this, I would say, is we're going to get into the bar scene of our era as coppers.
Ooh,
Owned by policemen.
Well, some
frequented by policemen.
Well, you're going to have two different categories. Some are owned by policemen.
Yeah.
And some were frequented by policemen. So you got to put them in two different categories because the policeman bars, they didn't have that, the backing behind them as far as the bigger restaurants and whatnot. And they were more of an in and out kind of a operation. But we'll talk about them, and we're going to let John lead the conversation here in a little bit.
I like that.
The local
It'll be
expert.
fun.
You ready for that, producer John?
Absolutely.
From your days back in liquor control?
Which he has none of.
Tommy, probably a year ago, actually, I think if I remember correctly, when we did our live show at a police bar called Barney's,
Yep.
We brought up Mondegreens. Okay.
Okay, let me get these things now. And Danny, tell people what Mondegreens are.
Well, I got it from my sister Marion, and a Mondegreen is it's for instance a musical lyric that is misinterpreted. The lyrics are misinterpreted. You hear things and it's not what the actual lyric is,
right,
and they become hilarious. That's an example of a Mondegreen.
So I got a couple.
Okay.
So I just like you said, when you hear a song, you hear something different. When I hear it, I might hear something different. So here's what I got right now. You remember this song, right?
Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees. Like
Bald-headed woman, four-legged woman, two knees.
I can't get I can't get it out of my head. What else you got?
Hold on.
I can't get it out of my head.
This one. All right, this one right here. This is.
Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone.
Uh-oh, hold on. So I think at the end it says, don't have to be afraid of 11-inch dong. Ready?
it's been my problem a long
Ready?
time.
Don't have to be afraid of 11-inch dong.
Turn it up.
Life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Say, oh yeah, life goes on.
Right here. Don't have to be.
Long after the thrill of living is gone.
All right, there we go.
Mondegreens. Oh my God, those were bizarre. Say what you want.
Here we go.
They once again, mushrooms are back in the news. There was, I don't know if you saw it, but it was a psychedelic mushrooms. A guy was in late stages of Alzheimer, and they gave him a dose, and then waited 2 weeks, gave him another dose, and the only side effect was right after giving the dose, he was very sleepy, profuse sweating, boom, boom, and then all of a sudden, when he woke up, he was having normal conversations. He was funny. He remembered everything. He was able to perform everything.
Really?
And then they gave him another dose to see how it went. He got really sleepy, profuse sweating, and then was sharp as a tack. And his family was like, "Oh my!" And also didn't need any more assistance walking.
Wow.
He left a walker, and so it's not approved by the FDA, and they're still early in the studies, and they're saying that it would have to be continuous treatment.
You're a believer now, aren't you?
You know,
Oh,
what's
yeah.
funny?
I mean,
there's just such a stigmatism towards it. The
Yeah.
people are like, oh, you're, like I told Lisa this for certain reasons, and she's like, look, like I was crazy. I'm not going to push the issue, but I would.
Changes lives.
I would do it.
It has to be supervised.
Yes.
Right,
Because-
just don't go out and get that's the shit I do, is just go out and get a handful of mushrooms and take them. Don't do that. It works well. I mean, I think it works well,
Yeah.
but, for my purposes.
Yeah.
But if I was going in for a medical
Nobody
reason,
knows what your purposes are, though.
well, we're going to talk about some bars, and
right.
I was on some mushrooms and some of the bars.
No,
we'll talk
Danny,
about.
that's interesting. I think that's.
But the
cool.
FDA's studying it. They're not. They're
Well,
not.
they'll take 10 years.
poo-pooing the-
They'll
oh, yeah.
take 10 years.
They're not
or
poo-pooing the
more.
idea, but they're saying it needs more.
Here,
What's the difference, though?
That's one of my conspiracies.
What do you have-
Danny,
what do you
is
have to
the
lose?
medical industry.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Here
yeah.
we go with this. Is then now they got to go through testing, and then somebody gets the control of how they're going to do everything.
I think we should have a test with me.
What?
I think I should run
to
it.
see what
I'll
happens.
be
Just
your
do
doctor.
it.
We're already doing it,
and
JJ. Look in your glass.
So I won't screw up my Zens anymore, or all kinds of stuff.
Oh, it'll be a lot of
You'll be
mushrooms.
writing them off the top of your head.
Yeah. So we are moving on from the mushrooms. I don't know how I got on that.
I think it was,
but-
That's a good
I'm
story,
glad you
Danny.
brought that up, Dan. That's interesting.
Well, I'm looking
That's
forward
gonna be
to it.
better than whatever.
you don't know what my this day in history is.
I think I might.
Right.
You look at my
He's just
notes.
saying
I
it's
kind
better.
of cheated a little bit.
Are you serious?
No, I didn't.
I'm not going to my this day in history. We're going to have a new segment. Ken Plackey from Sugar Ford, St. Louis is out in the crowd. We are working on a new segment.
I got the questions here. Hold on. Hats are coming.
Ken's. Oh shit. I really like this. All right.
No, I got to do something with my mic here.
Hang on a minute.
Sugar Ford of St. Louis has canvassed all their employees from all their locations, and we have a new segment, Shickers Want to Know. And they're going to send us questions, and we're going to try to answer them to the best of our ability. Now,
There's a lot of questions in here.
I did tell Plackey that we're going to be honest. So if you think you're going to send us some self-serving questions and get the answers you want, you're fucked. Because we're gonna say what the first thing comes to our minds.
Then you sit
There's
down.
Karnak.
I picture of this.
I feel like the Johnny Carson show, Karnak.
All right, here, reach in and grab a question.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to put these glasses on, too.
What we'll do for Shicker. What we will do for Shicker.
What's one feature on your car that you refuse to drive without?
What's one feature in our car that I refuse to drive without?
Good question.
The
Steering
brakes.
wheel.
The brakes.
I'm steering wheel.
The brakes. JJ?
Mine would be actually put my phone in and seeing the phone on the screen.
You love that?
That's what
Oh,
they
yeah.
meant.
So you
They
can
meant
do.
that like an extra thing, not just shit that you would expect on a car.
Oh, okay.
Like brakes and steering wheels and stuff
Well,
like that.
I answered correctly then.
I was
Safety
being honest.
first. Yeah, I'm being honest.
Safety. What I really
I
wish
would
they
have
would
a
do is
steering-
get rid of that seatbelt thing that keeps
I'm
beeping.
saying cruise
No,
control.
wear your seatbelt, JJ.
I'm joking.
If I catch you without your
But you
seatbelt on,
can't. You have to nowadays. You
Yeah.
have to.
What about cruise control? Are you a cruise control guy when you take
I
a
take
trip?
it. I can take it or
Yes,
leave it.
I am. When we go on.
The cruise control's big to me.
Me too. When
All
we
right.
go on trips.
You know, you talked about Karnak on Johnny Carson. My favorite one was when he said, because he put the envelope up to his head and he'd give you the answer, then he'd read the question.
Yeah.
And he said, shish kebab. And he opens it, he goes, how do you tell kebab to be quiet?
Shish kebab.
What's one feature that you love in modern cars?
Air conditioning.
That's a good one. What do you
How
got,
about
producer
Bluetooth?
John? It's your.
I guess Bluetooth.
I'd say Bluetooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I said that on the last.
Because I don't use a lot. I don't need a lot of stuff, but I have to have music. So
Bluetooth.
Your own music.
and
Just that I love to text, voice text
Oh, 100%.
on my phone.
And you're
100%.
terrible at it.
I am one of the best
You
voice
are terrible
texters.
at voice. You're the worst voice texter of all time.
Yours always has edits in there. All right. Well, thank you. That was it for the Schicker Wants to Know. We're going to do that segment from time to time, and hopefully Alex Schicker or Ken Plackey come up here and join us and bring the questions live, but we'll
He's
see.
out there just buying everybody buckets.
Yeah, he never stops. Plackey doesn't stop.
He's just a bucket buyer.
He goes straight from here to Riverman Cigar Company. Sees Ponder and
84 Watson Road.
Yep.
Probably sits in that beautiful cigar, that lounge they got. Tests out a couple cigars. Sits there with Dan. Talks about old St. Louis stuff.
oh yeah,
That
he
old
does it.
St. Louis used stuff they got in the lounge there.
Oh
You know
hell
they
yeah,
do. You know
Yeah.
they do.
And so, but I have to get on because I have this day in history.
What happened? Because you know who wants to know?
Who?
Tommy?
Corby Campbell told me that he actually is a
Campbell
fan.
Security
of-
Group.
He's a fan of your little what happened today in this history. Campbell Security Group. If you need some protection, you got to get a hold of Corby and down there at CampbellSecurityGroup.com. And they're rolling, JJ. Ain't
Hey,
they?
I got a nice hat out of him
Look at that hat.
I-
That is a
How
nice
does this?
hat.
How does he get all this
Right.
stuff?
because he likes me.
He needs.
So I played in
right.
a golf tournament. He paid for, and it was a nice golf tournament.
And he gave you a hat.
He gave us a hat and a shirt. I got a nice shirt. I don't want to like
So
really.
he's merching you up.
Does he
He burns
know
his
that
shit up.
there's 4 of us on this podcast?
He knows there's me.
This day in history.
I got
What
a hat.
happened?
I got a hat from Cece today.
Oh yeah, Cece
That's a
keeps
sweet looking
Cece.
hat.
She knows your dedication to the country, and in fact, you brought up Cece, and this day in history is Cece reminded me about this day. This weekend, while we're between showing this show on Monday, it's Flag Day.
Oh, the 14th, right?
Exactly,
Good Tommy.
Tommy.
Look at Tommy.
Holy cow!
Big brain on Tommy.
So, but like me, I want to peel the onion on Flag Day because I guarantee none of us can answer the basic questions about Flag Day other than it honors the United States flag. There is so much more to this story, and I'm going to give you 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Is Betsy Ross involved?
100%. 100%.
Oh, wow.
Boy, dude, did you read my notes?
No, I just know it's on the 14th, and Betsy Ross built that. Or
It's
sewed
mu-
that bit.
it's the
Okay.
it's
All
the
right.
mushroom.
All right. I love it. I love that you said that. I love that you said that. Okay, so June 14th is Flag Day. It commemorates the Second Continental Congress actually adopting the Stars and Stripes. Okay, and June 14th shares an important birthday with the Army. June 14th is the Army's birthday. So shout out, happy birthday to all our Army veterans.
The Menendez brothers.
Absolutely.
Are they Army?
Yep.
Okay,
Airborne.
It's their birthday. Share it with Flag Day, and so hats off to them. Freedom is not free, and so and Cece wanted to remind me about this being Flag Day, and a lot of times we turn on the TV and certain channels love to show protesters that burn our flags in protest of our country and our flag, and they can all go scratch themselves.
They can go back to where they came from.
Exactly right. You don't burn our flag. There
Go
is
fuck yourself.
You don't like this country? Get out.
yeah, get out. Don't burn our flag. And Flag Day has such interesting nuances to it. So President Woodrow Wilson issued a proclamation in 1916
Before you were born.
about Flag Day.
Right.
But President Harry Truman actually, in 1949, made it into law. June 14th is Flag Day.
HST.
But that was only after, you're going to like this, a school teacher out of Wisconsin named Bernard Seagrand. He was a school teacher in Wisconsin.
Bernie C.
We're going with it, and I think it's appropriate. Bernie C. quit his job as a school teacher and started to tour the country and gave 2,188 public speeches of why we should have a Flag Day to honor the very flag that we honor
How many?
today. 2,188 speeches. And finally, Woodrow Wilson gave the proclamation, and then Harry Truman made it official Flag Day. So it's pretty interesting like that. But here's some interesting facts. Betsy Ross didn't have shit to do with the American flag.
That's some bullshit.
Ooh.
Didn't have shit to do.
Oh, dude.
Come on,
She
Huck.
didn't. She didn't invent it.
Jesus
She didn't sew
Christ.
it. The first model.
Now we're going to soil Betsy Ross's name?
We're not going to soil Betsy Ross because that's weird. But Betsy Ross was a patriot.
Good.
And
Well, there you go.
And what she did,
like
amongst other women, when our brave soldiers were out fighting and their uniforms became tattered and worn, her and a group of people would sew them and put our soldiers' uniforms back into working condition.
That's
and this
even
and that.
more honorable.
But her son, it is. But her son, years down the road, started this thing. But Betsy Ross didn't invent. She didn't design it.
So her son rolled with it?
Yeah, he was
God
kind of.
bless him.
I know he was kind of.
Oh, yeah. He's
She
proud of
deserves.
his mom.
Obviously, she deserves it.
Yeah.
Francis Hopkinson was a delegate out of New Jersey, and he was an original signer on the Declaration of Independence. He designed the flag.
Big Hop.
Hoppy.
Big Hoppy, he designed the flag. Okay, all right. So Betsy Ross is out. Hopkinson's in. JJ, who can order the flag to be at half mast?
Oh, more than just the president.
Okay, so there's three people that can order the flag to be at half mast.
Anybody
The President of the United States, the governor of individual states,
Right.
Okay.
and the governor of the state. It has to be something specific to their state. And the mayor of Washington, D.C. can order the flag in Washington, D.C. to be at half mast. No private citizen and no private corporation for some idea that they think is important or some cause or some tragedy that they think is important can lower the flag legally at half mast. And these are federal laws.
So governors is basically
Governors can do it and this and
the
that.
president and the government.
Yeah.
Or the,
and the mayor of Washington, D.C., which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah. Marion Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a half master. He got locked up.
There's that,
And here's an
there's that half
interesting...
mass when he had all that crap.
So then here's a little peel of the onion, Tommy. The proper way to lower the flag to half mast is to raise it to full and then very solemnly bring it to half. And then when you take it down for the night, bring it back up full and then bring it down and put it away. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So that's how you get around the rule?
No, that's how you do it.
That's how you have to do it. So
That's
there's
how-
a protocol.
There's
Okay.
a decorum of how you do that.
All right.
Okay,
I
so
thought that's how you got around the rule.
interesting thing, mandated time frames for being at half mast, and I didn't know this. So if the current president or a former president dies, it's at half mast for 30 days. If the current vice president, the chief justice, or the speaker of the House dies, it's at half mast for 10 days. If one of the associate Supreme Court justices, a cabinet member, or a former vice president or a governor of a state dies, it's from the time they die until the burial. A member of Congress, day after the death, it's at half mast and it goes right back up. Good. And then, and then the other thing is burning of the flag. It's not for these protesters, these degenerates that disgrace our flag. It's not. That's burning the flag is the proper way to dispose of a flag that needs to be
Retired.
It needs to be retired. It's in terrible shape. It cannot be recovered. The proper way is to burn it.
All right.
And so that's kind of interesting. But I love that this show is about supporting our country and our brave men and women in blue, and there is proper etiquette, and our flag should be honored.
And that's cool. And two is that we talked about it earlier, is that all these people coming in from all over the world, they're coming to America
For the World Cup?
for the World Cup. And they can't believe this silly shit we got that makes this world so great. Like we said earlier, a Buc-ee's, a Taco Bell. I mean, the simplest stuff that we take for granted, that how great this country is, and you just look at it and you can't. Well, I'll just tell you, the people that don't like this country
Need to
they get the fuck out.
100%.
Fuck off.
And if
We'll drive
what
you-
is the crime for burning a flag? They should be
Actually,
It's a tough thing.
They should be kicked in the face.
They should be gone, dude. If you're
No,
burning,
just one. Just get like somebody to just kick them really hard in the face.
but they don't understand the history of this country.
No jail
and
time, no nothing.
And they're burning this flag that made this country great.
And that's what I think
Screw
is
that.
so important that there's federal laws
Right.
of the proper handling of our flag.
Very disappointed that Betsy Ross ain't involved.
She's
Dude, isn't
sort
that
of.
rough?
She's a patriot, though.
She is a patriot. She
But
was
sewing them uniforms.
Yeah, she
that's
was.
to make
should be
our
famous.
soldiers look good. That's what she
should be
did, but she
famous.
didn't design it. So Big Hop.
But
did.
like Tommy said,
I saw a great cartoon. Is her sewing the flag, and there's a bunch of soldiers around her that look like George Washington with the hair back and everything. And she asked the question to them is, "What should I do with these stars?" And their answer was, "Spangle them bitches. We got some asses to drop."
that is so cool. That's cool. But anyway, that's my this day in history,
It's a good one.
and we'll
Very patriotic.
Corby Campbell. He
Thank you,
sponsored that.
and he likes
Thank you,
it, and
Corby,
so-
and that's what you need to know about what happened this week.
JJ.
yes, sir.
We're gonna go to your Zen.
All right, this is
And
powered.
who's it powered by?
By Prime Performance, and I'm going to read this. And Jim gave me this. And if you're feeling tired, low on energy, struggling with weight loss, or not performing at your best, Prime Performance helps men and women take care of their health with. I put my cheaters on health. Oh wow, that's really a big deal.
Big word, JJ.
With personalized hormone optimism, weight loss, peptide therapy, IV wellness treatments, and more. Whether your goal is energy, increased muscle, weight loss, or just feeling better, Prime Performance team is ready to help. Schedule a free consultation today at primeperformancestl.com and start your journey to rediscover your prime, which I love that line.
Yeah, great tagline.
You mentioned the brighter side of blue. You get discounts on service and product. And there's 2 locations, one in Fenton and one in O'Fallon, Illinois.
But before you go any further, can I?
But
The personalized got him because it was too many letters.
I couldn't know. My
He
writing was
couldn't read.
really
His
low.
writing was fucked up.
I didn't have my
and the
cheaters
word was too big, so he screwed that. That personalized got him.
No, I just couldn't read
But
it.
you did a great job though there.
Very
Yeah,
good.
but
I will tell you that.
We'll redo it.
Now, do you have a Zen to go
I
along
do,
with
and
this?
I love this. It's from Postal Dave, and comes from a Las Vegas PD sergeant named Christopher Curtis, and it's called the Bullshit Meter. It's for a policeman. This is for every policeman. You guys will believe this. You'll agree with this. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear.
Ooh.
Oh, the bullshit meter. I mean, how many times have we been on calls and they're just so believe half of what you see and none of what you hear.
Wow.
By Christopher Curtis.
Unless you hear it from
Sergeant.
Then we know it's all bullshit. then we remove all doubt.
How does it apply to our show?
Our show is, I'd say our show is 76% bullshit.
No, it's true. It's just we like the bullshit.
We just don't fact.
me. Right.
We don't fact check.
Just a mix of it.
Okay, then only
Hey,
send
before
3.
we get
Olivia.
into the bar talk, Danny, where are you going this Monday? We were talking about you got an interesting procedure.
You're up in
coming
my you're up in my HIPAA business again.
Well, I just found it interesting that, and this is more for the old heads and the young heads.
Wait,
You'll be looking forward to this, but
I have no idea what you're talking about.
hold on. Danny's going in for a colonoscopy, but they've changed it. But what hit me is they've changed the procedure, the prep procedure.
It's a 2-step prep now.
You got to guzzle that juice twice.
You do. One Sunday
man.
evening.
Why isn't one time good enough?
Well, there's a medical reason behind it, or they just hate us.
They must watch the podcast.
They watch the podcast.
I'm gonna get
They're like,
this
"Oh,
guy.
Danny's coming in. Let's get him."
he believes a 2-step program. But the fireworks begin tomorrow, and then again at 4 a.m.
Oh wow.
Monday morning. I have to
4
do it
a.m.
again.
Yeah.
I have to get up and do it again.
So he's got to drink the juice tomorrow morning and then wake up 4 a.m. Before on Monday and do it again.
This is riveting stuff.
What time's your appointment?
I'm gonna call him.
be there at
I'm
8.
gonna call him at 4 a.m. and see how he's doing.
I'm gonna grab the GoPro and do the.
Follow him in.
guys.
Just
What
listen-
about the post colonoscopy meal? Where you headed?
Oh, I think that's a great topic. Everybody out there, first of all, everybody our age has had a colonoscopy.
And
They
then
have
was
to-
that having or getting them
You get
Yeah.
the privilege of having that first meal after the colonoscopy.
after like 40 hours of not eating?
Yeah, after 40 hours.
That's
What's it
crazy.
going to be? You're going to go all healthy, and I'm going to stick with the smoothie,
No.
a spinach smoothie, or what are you going to go? A triple Whopper?
Slinger.
You know, I was going to say something too.
Actually, a slinger can be part of the cleaning out process.
That's a prep.
Right.
That's a two-step
Instead of
prep.
doing the second,
You'll be cleaned out.
just hit
way
a
ahead of
sling, a
time.
4 a.m. slinger. It'll clean the rest of you
I tell you
out.
what, that's exactly what I was going to say. But in reality, when I had it done, I just went and had a big breakfast.
Did you?
Oh yeah, I love it. You can't wait to get to it because you're starving.
Actually, I'm going to have.
Do they do those afternoon?
So they
I'm
can't.
sure they
That
do
would
all
be
day long.
horrible.
That's
I would hate to
brutal.
wake up and have to wait till like
Again
3
all day.
o'clock all day. Yeah.
That's
I'm going to go
insane.
with meatloaf, homemade mashed potatoes, homemade meatloaf, and green beans.
Where?
Is Denise aware of this?
Really?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
That's what she
all right.
promised me.
All right.
Oh, no
all right.
kidding.
Good for Denise.
Yeah.
She's taking care of it.
Yeah, yeah. But everybody goes through those things. It's just now the two-step program doesn't sound like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I would hate to. Yeah, the two-step.
That sounds
But
terrible.
the two-step program might wipe out the meal.
I hope not.
Because if it's still lingering,
What's
Yeah.
he
And
going
then
to
you-
have in his system to?
Yeah.
He might be.
I'll let you know.
Anyway,
I'll
yeah.
let you know. There'll be an update on
let's
that.
go ahead
yeah,
and move
yeah.
on.
Okay.
And you know where you go if you need a new fence, a deck, some stuff done in your yard.
Sugarloaf.
Landscape and Nursery.
I got you.
Then
Your
you give
boy.
them a holler at 618-692-0113. David Lorenz, tremendous dude. He's got a huge heart, and you know he's going to take care of you. Sugarloaf, Landscape and Nursery. Give him a call.
Got you.
Absolutely.
Now let's get into some bar talk. Johnny, we'll let you. And before we get into the bar talk, we're going to talk about an era. We don't know what happened before us, or we heard of them. The current bar scene is pretty much what we're going to talk about. We only have a couple that we go to, but I'll let John take the lead on this. And
And after he's done, I can tell what the new era is doing.
Yeah, because you're your son.
That won't take long.
No, it won't. No.
No, I when we came on, we all came on about the same time, and particularly in my situation, right off the bat, I noticed that these guys in my platoon would go out after work, and it took a couple weeks before they included me, but finally, I got invited, and that's where the camaraderie comes from, and that's where you learn. You get to ask because when you're working, you're working. You don't see other guys a lot of times. You're on calls and stuff. But as a young copper, that's where I got to ask the older coppers questions about stuff that happened earlier in the shift or things or what's going to happen next week. So Dickie Burgess was my training officer, and he's the one that brought me in, and they all went to Rosie's back then down on Laclede in the West End. But as I went on in the police department, I went to Mobile Reserve next, and we worked straight 6 to 2. We never worked days.
6 p. to 2 a.m.
2 a.m. So at 2 o'clock, and we were really busy, like you guys still are now, JJ. And you're all worked up. It's 2 in the morning. Your family's asleep, and we'd all either hang out in the parking lot or we'd go to like Maggie O'Brien's, which was right down the street from the mobile station back then. But you got everything off. You got to unwind. You got to, if you had a problem, or something, you got it off your chest there. You'd laugh, you'd make jokes, and you guys would probably all agree. As stressful as the job is, every night something funny happens. Either somebody says something funny, or something happens on the street that makes you laugh, or whatever. Or you can, you bust on, one of your.
And you get to know your buddies, and you know your people that you work around.
Yeah.
They have your back. You learn them, and you're like,
Right.
this guy's a good dude. I can trust.
Yeah, right. Some guys, like you said, some guys are all business. During work hours, you don't get to know them. They got the persona, but off duty after drinking a couple of beers, sometimes those are some of the coolest guys. But you don't get to know them while you're working.
well, even unless you have a partner, you can talk to them a little bit more. Right. But everybody that works around you, like you guys said, and that's the time you get to know them is when you step out with a beer after work, or the many celebrations we have of when you're off duty, and you get to sit down. And then too, you got to talk to as young guys. That's where you get to hang out with the guys that preceded you. Whether it be a couple of years or 10 years, or the supervisors. And even the supervisors, the sergeants and lieutenants and captains would sometimes come out, not all the time, but that was their time to get to know you too, talk to you a little bit,
100%.
Right.
And everybody gets to open up a little bit. You get to learn about people's wives, families.
My son used to always say, be shocked at how I wouldn't not bring the job home with me. And, you know, all of us, and you still, pretty much every day you see something traumatic, you see something very stressful, you inherit some stress from what we see and what we do, and you don't want to bring that home with you. And they wouldn't understand it if you'd explained it to them, your family. But when you get to these in a surrounding where it's casual and the uniform comes off and you have a cold beer, you get to talk about the trauma and the stress. And some old copper as a mentor and said, "Hey, Tommy, I saw how it went down, and here."
Right.
That's part of mentoring.
Or they've been through it before. Whatever it is that's on your chest, they've been through it before.
They've seen it.
And they're like, "Hey, man, you'll be okay."
Yeah.
You know.
Here's what's going to happen.
What struck me is that I didn't knew nothing. I knew nothing like all of us didn't know anything about. I never around policemen before I became a policeman. And but when you get on, you're a young probe, the sergeant's intimidating to you. Lieutenants are extremely intimidating to you. And in captain, you'd see the captain.
Out.
Yeah, like either be like, "Where's captain's here?" Captain's coming to the roll call. You're like, "Holy crap!" Lieutenant come down the hallway. You're like, "Holy shit!" But then I got to learn pretty quickly is how much these old school guys had your backs on the street, which is like, holy crap. You'd screw up once in a while, and you're like, "Oh man, I'm in trouble." And they would talk to you, "Hey, dude, everybody makes mistakes," and they would like talk to you like a man to man and make you feel so much better.
Oh God!
And then you'd be
great.
like, "Holy crap, these guys really do have our backs." And I was so impressed by, I knew that they have our backs over anything. And that's important for supervisors to do for their young officers.
And then I think we did that with the people that were a little bit younger than us. You know, they would come out and join us, and we'll talk about. And my wife always said, "Jesus, you guys drink for everything."
We drink for everything.
Whether it's a promotion, a death,
Retirement,
a baby, somebody had a birth.
I mean, what are we supposed to do? Go ballroom dancing? What have you guys
Retire transfers. Anybody got transferred, whether it was a good transfer or a bad transfer. Let's go booze.
Good search warrant.
A good search
Yeah.
warrant.
Oh, bad search
Bad
warrant.
search warrant. We got to go. Yeah.
100%, dude.
Hey, let's go talk about this.
We got to talk about this.
Nothing's off limits as far as motivation to go out after work.
Right.
Yeah.
We did never lack that.
No.
And like you said, a lot of times we get off at 2:00. What's there to do at 2:00?
Yeah.
And that's where the lots would come in. You know, a lot of times the bars weren't open,
And it would be, you just could not see what you've just seen on 8 hours and get off at 2 and go straight home and expect to close your eyes and fall asleep.
right.
Right. And you're still
There's no
wound
way.
up. man.
I mean,
And back then you didn't have all these video games and
Yeah.
9,000 satellite channels. You know,
yeah.
Right.
But I think it was even more important as a supervisor to get your people together after work. And like a lot of guys would stick around, and they didn't want to drink or they didn't drink, but they still showed up because they wanted to be part of the team, and they wouldn't stay as long or whatever. But it always meant a lot to me when people showed up, even when they weren't going to drink, or maybe
Yeah, who cares
A lot
about that?
of, lot of
Just
non-drinkers would always show up.
fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The hell?
Just being around the
But
boys.
it was
and the
camaraderie, and that's why you can see things as a supervisor, like there might be some friction between two of your subordinates. It was a good time to, after a couple beers, to sit down with both of them, and you could work it out and you smooth things over. But it's like you just tried to, like you said, Dan, you just try to leave everything there. So when you get home, your mind's clear. You can go to sleep. You get up the next day. You're not bothering your wife or kids with whatever kind of stress you dealt with. You talked it out and you got it off your chest, and then it was really it was fun, and we had a lot of laughs, but it was a mental health thing too.
100%. Because if you just kept it inside of you shift after shift after shift after shift, and you're on a 7-day stretch, pretty soon you're just an angry guy. You're just an angry copper.
I remember, and Joe Spees, I don't know if they'll like this story or not, but he's one of the best supervisors I've ever worked for, and everybody will say the same thing. We had I won't say who they were, but there was guys in our crew that were on each other's nerves, dude. And it was every day they'd be chirping at each other. And finally we were walking back to our car, and Spees says, "Dude, you guys might as well get it over. Let's just fight. You guys just fight right now, and let's just get this shit. I'm tired of this bullshit." And they both looked at each other like, "Are you serious?"
yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, do it." And they kind of arguing like, and then they never did, and they never fought, and then they ended up like, it's kind of stupid, and they shook hands and moved on.
It was over.
There it is.
But they're like, "Holy shit, he really wants us to fight."
Sometimes you had enough.
He did. Speed said enough, and they did.
Cop on cop violence has happened before.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that one where I think it was somewhere in California,
Yeah.
where one guy shot another guy in the parking lot?
Oh, for because
a policeman.
he microwave fish.
No.
This was a
At the
different
station,
one.
did you hear about that
was
one?
a different one.
Yes, I did hear that one.
This one was in San Francisco.
Santa Monica or something?
Yeah, something like that. And they were in the police parking lot, and I got her to get into it, and one pointed a gun at the other one, and it went off, and
Yeah,
the
one
chief
guy-
called it like shenanigans or something.
Was
People were like,
was
shenanigans, that's a crime.
Was a woman involved?
That's a felony.
I'm guessing woman was involved in that.
Did you see the video of it?
No.
Yeah, they released the video. The one guy, they're pulling up, like packing up their cars before hitting the street, and the guy pulls up behind the other guy, and the guy who's outside the car just pulled his gun, like, be funny, Well, the other guy in the car did it back to be funny, and it went off and went through the windshield and hit the copper in the shoulder.
Them
Oh,
morons,
wow.
Them morons.
It's all on video.
They deserve whatever they get. We don't. You don't. It's never funny to play with a gun.
No.
I don't know one city copper or copper that I ever hung around with that played with guns. Not
No.
one, because it was not cool. It was unacceptable, and you. So I don't know.
But Johnny, you mentioned earlier Rosie's. And Rosie's was a 9th District bar. You almost needed, like if you wanted to go to Rosie's as a policeman, you almost wanted to be escorted in by a regular
9th District guy.
9th District.
Yeah.
You needed that protection. But John, talk a little bit about Rosie's, and actually you became friends with Rosie over the years.
Yeah. So Rosie's. And the funny part was too is the A platoon. I was on the B platoon. We'd be on afternoons. Well, the A platoon was like the Bishop brothers and Mike Barra, and that whole crew. Murph, and a lot of times they'd still be there from 3 o'clock,
Getting off at 3?
At 3, and we'd meet them there. But it was a family. Rosie and Tony Leone owned the place. They didn't have any kids. That was their baby, especially Rosie. She was there every day during the day. We got to know her real well. Eventually, Tony passed away, and Rosie and I are good friends. So, and she didn't drive; she never drove. So, later in her life, I take her shopping, and we go.
This is after the bar closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even while the bar was open, but it was just a family down there, and Caddy Corner from there was Majestic, and that was where we went to eat, and we drank there a lot too. And that was the Politis family, and they were really good to us. So that was our little home away from home, those two places. But Rosie's was, every night on the 3 to 3, we call it the 3 to 3 watch, because
Right. Yeah.
we got off at 11, but we got home.
Started at 3 and ended at 3.
Yeah.
But Danny, you were mentioning earlier that you saw Bob Zambo today at the wake.
Yeah, Steve Holley.
And he mentioned a bunch of bars to you, and I'm just gonna guess a couple that he might have said. Was Schaefer's on there?
Yep.
B&B,
Yep.
Jimmy's Saloon.
Yep.
All right,
Those are three
And
I remember. And he said those are from the 70s.
right. So that was right before our era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we came on 87, so about
Right.
yeah. And he remembered them. So, could you imagine talking to Captain Speece, deceased now, what his hangouts were back
Back in the day.
That'd be so neat.
Well, and then you talk about the jury room. I mean, we can't talk about it that much because we never really went there all that much. So,
no.
and we can't talk about those bars all that much because we never really went there.
We're not unique to police departments, though. If any show you see on TV, they have this, like the show with Bosch, if you guys watch it, but they all go to a bar afterwards.
Same place, yeah.
They'd all go to the same bars. They always had a bar to hang out with, the police did. And
We had a
times-
lot.
Yes, but they would go to one. And a lot of times, attorneys, we'd hang out with attorneys, prosecuting attorneys at times.
Yeah, all the time.
Well, that brings me to Killer Brews. So Killer Brews kind of took over for the jury room, where it was
Right.
jury room was central. So you get a lot of attorneys in there, you get
Right.
a lot of judges, you get a lot of policemen, and then it closed, and Killer Brews opened at 18th and Park, right? Is that where it was?
Yeah.
18th and Park,
Absolutely.
and that became the place, and it was a central, and that's when we were all starting to get different assignments, assigned downtown, assigned to specialized units. And that's where we would all go because it was close to downtown, and several units would go there. So as we talked about, you would go drinking with some of the guys that were on your own platoon, but there was also bars where you'd see people from other districts.
Yes.
And that was one of those, and other units. And it allowed you to meet other people and get to know them. And get to know them well, and get to know the guys from homicide that you only see on scenes, and and different places like that. So Killebrews became.
And I got is Killebrews, did it eventually turn into Lafayette's?
Yes.
Okay, so it stayed the same way. And so I'm going to say a story that I just came to mind is two prosecuting attorneys that when you're a young officer, you go to, if you're a good policeman, you go to the warrant office and plan a lot of stuff. Well, Krista Boston was one of the women that attorneys.
Yeah.
Remember Krista?
Oh, yeah.
Great guy.
I'm not going to say who she was with. I'm going to say it. Tanya Engelhardt.
There you go.
So they were at the bar, and we knew them very well. We played softball with some of they come out to the co-ed softball games. Some of the attorneys are playing for. Jimmy Long and I are working, and I get a phone call, I believe, from Krista, and it's still like we got on at 6. It's like 7 o'clock at night. Still daylight, it's summer, and Krista says, "Hey, I need you to get up here." Tanya is hammered, and she is acting up a fool, and she needs a ride home. Huh?
Tanya doesn't want this mentioned.
No,
Yeah.
it gets better.
Okay.
It gets better. So I'm like, God, I was so mad at her. I was like, gosh dang it. Trust me, this is going to end fine. I was like, gosh dang it. So Jimmy, we got to go get her and drive her home, whatever. So we got there, and they were totally sober, both of them. And they were laughing. They was like, so we're seeing if you would come if we really needed your help. I'm like, yeah, but I was so damn mad. I'm like, are you serious? We're working right now, and you could pull this BS. And she goes, they were dying laughing, thinking, well, gosh, we know you have our backs now.
my
So
God.
yeah.
You got tested
Yeah.
and you passed.
Yeah.
A plus.
Yep.
All right.
My
Good
very
job.
my very first lieutenant on the job was Manny Delgado, and I worked up in the 8th district with Manny, and he, talking about a policeman's policeman. Boy, he was an old time hard ass commander, and he was good friends with a night watch sergeant Paul Stewart. And so you always saw the police side of Manny, who always had a policeman's back. If you were trying hard to do good police
Right.
work, he had your back as far as the world goes. Well, then they open a bar on Hampton, Area 4. Classic police bar, and it's Manny Delgado and Paul Stewart that own the place. And so you get to go in there and see a totally different side of both of them, because Paul Stewart was a very quiet guy on the job, very quiet to himself.
Well, it opened when we went to the 3 stations. So
Yeah.
we went from the 9 districts to the Area 1, Area 2,
Terrible
Area 3.
move.
Terrible
was.
move to this day. However,
Yes, it was.
they took advantage of that. And it was within the year, or right
100%.
after that, they got Area 4. And Area 4 was a saloon. That was it. They didn't have no food.
No.
They might have had those 25-cent bag of like Fritos on the wall.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And occasionally somebody would bring in some dish from home. That would
And a
be,
cigarette machine.
that place was smoky.
The worst ventilation ever.
Yeah.
But it was classic. It was one of those great places. A lot of Manny's generation
Right.
would be there. Russ Cruz, Mike Bergman, Billy Qualls.
Fran Russell.
I don't even.
Fran never left. I don't think.
Yeah.
But those guys were fun to be around because just like I said, is that we were younger guys, and when you got to know those guys and you got to talking stories with them. And I was the kind of guy that I always liked funny stories. I didn't want to hear about how tough you were
no,
and how
Tough
great
guys
of a
suck,
policeman you were. Tell me the funny stories, and
Yeah.
you would hear some classics from these guys.
Yeah.
And it was just fun.
Yeah.
That Area 4 was fun. And Manny and Paul. And that's where when my
You
wife was pregnant went in labor with Jordan.
You want
And
to
we were
swing
passing by there like 2:15.
I love
Hey,
it.
Well, the crowd had come out to the parking lot and was just drinking on the parking lot. I go, let's stop by, and then Mary Kay and Brian King were there.
Meanwhile, her water's broke.
Right. She's like, no. I was like, let's just stop and have a beer with him.
What a husband.
I'm surprised you didn't get punched.
But I will say that, and I'll have to bring up another police-owned bar, is Route 66. And the reason I bring it up is that's where I met my wife. And we just celebrated our 33rd anniversary.
I've never been there.
Dan Milford.
Yeah, Milford owned that.
Yep. And we used to go there. That's when I was on the night watch. And they opened up at 7 in the morning. Rosie Heffley,
Yeah.
she was a bartender there.
Did it used to be Checo's?
Yeah. Back in the day, it was Checo's.
So, and like I said, we're not going to be able to mention
No,
all the
and that's
bars
not our goal.
because
And
everybody had their own bar.
We're going to come back to the subject in later episodes.
Yeah. No,
too.
we just want to set the basis of why we're not just a bunch of wild,
Right.
bar flies. Hey, this is how we always talk about the police family. This is one of the ingredients to get into the police family.
Right.
Are we going to do the one more, or are we done?
We're going to do several more.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say we got to bring up Hilltop because that's how pretty much you and I, most of us met, or
Yeah,
A lot of the people
it
that
has
know.
Sally, our girl Sally, and
Yep.
Sally is now married to Tony Mariani.
Right. And she was the Thursday night bartender, and every policeman went up there, and that was quite some stories there.
Well, the Thursdays were interesting because you had Floney's right down the street from us here. And we all loved the Floney's, and they're legendary bars, St. Louis. But their big night was Thursday with their, Alex and Mrs.
band
Floney and
Was it
Tom.
always that Thursday? Was it always
Yes,
Thursday?
it was always
I don't remember.
Thursdays.
I always just remember going to Hilltop.
Your
and
dad,
not the
right?
Oh,
Floney's later.
I grew up there.
Right.
Yeah.
I grew up at Floney's, but I couldn't go to Floney's on Thursdays, and you know why?
Too crowded.
Absolutely. I don't like people touching me. I can't. I don't even care if it's a nice, good bar, and I just don't like people touching
His
me.
favorite place about the new studio, his favorite thing is I can't
Distance.
reach him.
Right.
I can't reach him.
You see how far I am from you?
Hey, since we're talking this topic and you're talking about Filoni's, June 20th, Mobile Reserve's having a big reunion for all the mobile guys. And John, Frank,
Head
anybody's
nods
in-
galore, baby.
Head nod galore, I think. But
Yeah, that's what we'll call it.
that's all bullshit. I think that was made up.
Head nods and Oakleys. Everybody get back in them. Get
Head
your
nod.
Oakleys on and give everybody a head nod.
Yeah, that's all. That's
we
all.
worked straight nights when I was in mobile, so we didn't
have
have, we didn't
sunglasses?
have sunglasses.
You just had the head nod.
You had
I-
sunglasses for the ride.
And I actually got to think. I actually think it started when we were in mobile. We had so many people. We always did a day watch and afternoon watch. And I think it was Jeff Long that created it because he said, "You guys," because Jimmy was his partner. He always would give us. We drove by him one time and we saw him. We just both did one of these head nods. And he goes, "You can mobile net head nods," and he got that. I think I actually give him credit for getting that BS started.
It's not
But-
BS.
We used to get that.
That's it too.
But I also had the pleasure or whatever of having. I was working with two guys at the time when they opened their own bars, and first was Barney.
Oh, yeah.
Mark Rodabaugh from the 5th District, and he opened that up while we were in the Detective Bureau together, the Central Patrol Detective Bureau. And I went through that with him, and he took a step out there, him and his sister, and they're still running to this
Yeah.
day. The only police-owned bar I think that's still running in the city. Do we
Right.
know of anybody else?
B Hall's out in the county, or
That's out in the county, but
Right.
Barney's is a long stand. He wins the award, the longest standing, the longevity award.
And they're having their the next class that's graduating on Friday is going to do it there.
Yep.
oh, nice.
They're having a little party of Barney's. So
Yeah.
congratulations
Party
to
of
Barney's because he got that name. I don't know. When Barney was a 5th District policeman, he's a hard-working dude. And he's out there messing with all the bad dudes. And then finally one of them dudes says, "This Barney Rubble
Barney
looking,
Rubble looking-
this Barney Rubble looking motherfucker will stop." So that's how he got the name Barney. And that, and that's cool when you get a nickname from the street people.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're making a difference. If they nickname you something.
Oh yeah.
So, and then I also had the pleasure of working with Leo Rice
wow.
when he opened up Tesson Station.
He had a
And
nice run there. How many?
He had a nice run.
Yeah, I think he just got tired.
I think
of it.
he got too old to be working
How
all
many
that
years
much.
was he?
He's like,
10?
every bit seems
Every
like.
bit of time.
And he would run and he'd get all those, like, "Hey, you guys having a Christmas party?" And he'd run to Homicide. "Yeah, have it down at my place."
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Oh,
He
he did
he'd
good.
hustle.
oh, yeah, he's a hustler.
I think the most interesting thing about that is can we mention the motorcycle gang that's next to him?
yeah.
They had understanding.
Elfisteros, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The Elfisteros motorcycle group was right next to them. And
Yep.
they didn't mess with them, and Leo didn't mess
and
with
if you
them.
went in there during the daytime, you'd see one or two sitting at the bar.
Oh yeah, they come in.
Yeah.
They were nice.
Yeah.
They didn't mess
No,
with us.
no.
No, they'd come in,
crazy.
have their beers. They'd
They were in
mind
the
their own
same
business.
building, basically. They
Yeah.
shared a wall.
Right.
That's pretty.
No,
Only
those
Leo
were-
could open a bar next to the Alfisteros and get along with them.
Get along just fine.
And just be, yeah.
But John, you had an interesting story when about the Missouri Bar and Grill, which
yeah.
was again the Missouri Bar and Grill wasn't like a place that all kinds of coppers went to, but if you worked in the 4th District and you were a footbeat guy or you were mainly in that 4th District, the Missouri Bar and Grill was a place that a lot of them
Right.
went.
Where
To.
the
Talk a little bit about that.
Post reporters hung out.
Yeah, Trifon
Oh, yeah.
Panopoulos owned it, and his brother Jimmy is a fireman. I don't
My
know.
neighbor.
Yeah, but we used to go in there a lot. It was right across. It was on Tucker, right across the street from the Post Dispatch, and
Near Gus's, right? That was
yeah, right around the corner from Gus's. And Jimmy, Jimmy, the short person, was in there all the time. But we used to go in there, and it was kind of cool because the people from the Post Dispatch would be in there, and there'd be a bunch of cops, and then a lot of the umpires used to come in there too after the games at Busch Stadium. So it was kind of a neat, eclectic crowd. It was open to 3. So one night, I was in housing, and Kevin Rudolph and I were riding around, and a 4th District copper had a car stopped right in front of Mobar. So we stopped to assist, and they get done doing what they're doing. Well, Trifon came up to our car and said, "Hey, when this is done, will you come in and talk to me?" And I said, "Sure." I thought he had a problem with a customer or something. And Trifon was a neat guy. But so anyway, it's almost relief time. And Trifon goes, "Hey," I go, we go in, I go, "Trifon, what's going on? What do you need?" He goes, "John, it's been like 5 years since I had a policeman come in my bar on duty." He goes, "Will you come in and have a drink with me real quick?"
He was lying. That's
So he had the gal bring us a couple drinks, and we were technically not off duty yet, but it was only
Close enough.
That's close
It was
enough.
like-
Close enough
I
to
think
2.
on special orders back in the day, you could have like 1 beer
Yeah.
if you were
Yeah.
out to dinner or something.
yeah, exactly.
Or eating lunch on a
real?
40. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't recall that.
Back in the
No,
day.
I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
Okay. But JJ, let's go to the landing a little bit for our era. And I would say that if Mobile Reserve had a bar, it was Sundecker's.
Oh my gosh.
Would you
yes.
agree with that?
100%.
That's where the mobile guy, they went there to eat lunch.
Yes.
They went there after work. They went there all the time.
Right. Oh, that was the place for Mobile Reserve and policemen in general. They
Right.
would always go there. Yeah, that was. I don't even want how much we want to get into that, but
No, it was a
It was
neat
amazing.
deck.
But the other thing you were down there for is it wasn't so much a police bar that people went to as policemen.
it was a popular bar.
But it was a popular bar with the youngsters, but the policemen worked there, like 6 of you guys at a
Secondary.
time.
Well,
And
it
that
was huge.
Morgan
It was
Street.
Morgan Street. Yeah. Well, they had the main floor was like the main bar, and had restaurant seats or booths and whatever tables. And then up the hill, there was like 3 bars in one, and there was a middle bar, and then there was a very end, which like the dance floor, and the very top was a smaller bar. But there was a halfway up the hill, or even 3/4 way up to that hill, there was a dance floor, and they'd open the doors, and it would be crazy. And so we'd always hang out where they carded people, and then we'd have security guards say, "Hey, we need security. We need the police on the dance floor," and we had to run up there and kick people out. And it was crazy. And the kids that bothered me the most were I gotta say, there was rich kids or kids that came from college that thought they always knew somebody. When we wondered, you know who I know, and you know who my daddy is. I used to drive me nuts, but we'd have to throw some people out of there. And it was as close as to our era as the show Roadhouse, the movie Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Dude.
What was the average height and weight of a secondary copper at?
Oh man, we got
6'4",
Tom.
250.
Yeah, they were big, and
Yeah.
I was one of the smaller. I mean, you had Tom Walsh, you got Joe
Roger.
Steiger, Roger, Boyer, and I were the smaller ones, and but Boyer was tough as nails, and the manager Rob Stone, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he took nothing from no one, and
He was Patrick Swayze.
He was, dude. He's still a bad dude, and he would all of a sudden I guess when it's statute of limitations up, all of a sudden he'd chuck somebody out the front door and be like, "He got to go." I'm like, holy shit. But I remember we had a big resisting right outside the dance floor, and Tom Walsh had the guy on the ground, and the guy was just fighting. Well, Tommy had that big nightstick. Well, he reaches up, and I'm kind of have my knee up in the air. Well, he comes and swings that nightstick, misses, and hits me right across the kneecap and dropped me. And I got one of his arms trying to get his arm behind his back, and I said, "Jesus Christ, Tommy, I think you broke my kneecap." And he goes, "I warned you." And he did one of these. He swang, and then after he swang, he said, "Jimmy, watch it." I really thought he broke my
After
kneecap,
impact.
dude.
But Tommy also, the Joe Steiger, tell the Joe Steiger, Tommy Walsh thing.
Well, Joe was always messing with him, and Tommy's kind of you say gruff, maybe?
You can just say
sometimes.
crabby.
Until he has a beard, then
Surly.
he's super nice. But
Surly.
Joe Steiger put his, I don't even know how to do it, but you put your lips on a glass, like the window.
And blow. He looked like a blowfish.
Blowfish. Well, he tapped on the thing and did it, and Tom was done with his tomfoolery, and he goes, smack, and he hits the glass, and Joe like pulls back. He opens his mouth, he knocked his front tooth out.
That's their land. And I guess
The funny thing is Joe Steiger thought it's funny too. He's got his front tooth.
he just got to head to the dentist.
Yeah.
Boomers was kind of crowded back in the day too. I guess but that kind of ended in the early 90s.
Yeah, that's kind of before I started going down there. And
But as far as a funny police story, I remember everybody knows our friend Bubba Worm, or a lot of people do. And he was in a bar on the south side. I forget which one it was. And then one of the patrons had passed out on the bar. And he was bald. and he had his head down and he's passed out. And the owner said, "Hey, Bubba, come over here and draw something on it here." Then Bubba he gives a marker. Bubba balls a big old cock and saggy balls on his head. The problem was it was permanent marker. So the guy had to wear a hat for like a week.
You know what he doesn't do anymore? He's fall asleep at the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
At least keeps
learned.
his hat on.
Who does that?
Yeah.
Oh my God! And then of course Columbo's.
And yeah, obviously that was
They're a long-standing police bar going all the way
Who
back.
turned
from
you on to Columbus?
Frank Seork. Frank Seork was when I
a
got
great
transferred
guy.
down to the second district. I was partners with him on the overlay. Came down here and met Grandpa Mike. That's before Mike Jr., Greg, Ryan were ever here, and introduced me to Grandpa, and we became friends and shut down after 1:30 a lot of times and go out to his house in Afton and play poker and stuff like that. But Columbus is taking care of the police for
well, for those that are
40
familiar
years.
with Columbo's, is upstairs is a beautiful dining area now.
Yeah.
That people get to sit, and in that dining area there was no dining. There was
the
just
bar
a pool
was
table.
25 feet forward.
There was a pool table there.
Yeah.
And we used to come up here and play 3-ball all the time. Yeah. And I mean, we played with Kelly Chase,
Yeah,
Chris
Twist.
Bonger, Twist, would all come here and just hang out because it was a legitimate dive.
Yes.
And then you come in here, the steel workers across the street would come in and cash their checks here.
Skull and Steel.
There you go.
And there was no food.
No.
And then when the younger crowd started getting involved, the Greg and the Ryan, they're like, "Hey, Dad, we need to get some food up in here." And he's like, "I don't want nothing to do with it. You guys do whatever you
Do
want.
whatever you want,
Right.
Ryan. And
However
Greg.
you want to do this." But they hooked up with it, and I don't know the gentleman's name at first. And the guy was a legitimate chef. He was not he wanted to open up his own restaurants, and Greg will tell us his name, I'm sure. But when this kitchen first opened, it was like a restaurant. I mean, right now they have tremendous bar food.
Well, they have great specials every week. I mean,
Yeah.
But back in the day, you could order stuff off the menu.
No,
it was
it
like a top dining restaurant.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we would come in here.
Then the police took over it.
They're like, if this is all we got coming in here,
If you only have to please these guys,
They just need
let's
wings
tone
and
it
pizza.
down. Yeah, let's tone it
SIBOs.
down. But we used to come in here all the time when I was in narcotics and DEA. I'm telling, when I say all the time, we were in here several days.
That's
a
really
week.
why I got to meet you, because we started working together, and you would always,
Right.
I'd always come down here to see you and the
And
rest of
then
the guys.
I'll never forget, there was a young girl that started to work here one day, and her name was Candace. And I don't know if you guys remember Candace she worked several years here. But it was her first day, and it was one of those days where we had a good search warrant or something. And we're like, hey, let's go out and get a beer. And there was 30 of us down here. You push all the tables together like the rugby team does now, and everybody was just leaving $20, And after a while, you got a couple $100 up there, and Greg would give us a deal on our beer, and everybody starts leaving, and before the end of it, it's just me and whoever left, and I got like whatever the bill was, I had like $200 left over.
Right.
And I know my friends or everybody that came there did not leave $20 for me to put in my pocket. I know that. I knew that. But so I just gave it to Candace on her first night here. The next day we walked in and Candace couldn't have got to our table quick enough. she was like, she almost went into a full sprint to get to the table.
Yeah, she's no dummy.
Well, when I retired, Tommy threw me a retirement party here. Yeah, I didn't set anything up. I kind of retired impromptu,
Yeah.
and Tom put it together. But it's one of the more proud moments of my police career is we drank Columbo's out of Bud Light that day.
That's a good tribute to you, John.
Yeah,
It was
And your liquor
apropos.
control.
lack thereof.
I want to make a quick shout out though to my first police bar I ever went to was Mr. Bud's on Merrimack and
Yeah.
Giles. My buddy Chuck his dad owned the plastic shop next door.
Yeah.
And we started going there in our early 20s, maybe late teens. And, but Paul Eckinger owned the place.
Yep.
Who later opened Paulie's up, which is now the Dock House up on Morgan Ford.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I really met any policeman.
Yeah.
But it was, guys like John Schickadance and Tim and Joe O'Brien and Chris Day.
Oh, my boy Chris.
Yeah, and Chris Day was one of the coolest guys I ever met in my life. But it was a neat place, and John Hayden used to come in there, who became chief later. But Paulie was a 4th District beat copper, so all the beat coppers would go there. And John was like a rookie, and he would come in there, So it was a really neat crowd. nice neighborhood bar. But Paulie became a good friend also, and he's since been deceased. But I just want to shout out to that.
No,
that really would help. Not only meet a lot of policemen, but it was a neat kind of
it was pretty.
Well, the other one we have to mention is Maggie O'Brien's. Yeah. Maggie O'Brien's was a mobile reserve. There was a mobile reserve prior to Sundeckers, but also while Sundeckers was going, because Maggie O'Brien's would get all kinds of people.
You're talking about on Market Street.
Right.
And that became the 3 o'clock bar that we all would go to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was when I was a young police officer in the 8th District. I'd get off at 11 and I would fly down there and try. And I told the story before, but there would be a line outside, and there's all these old coppers sitting at the table charging people. I think it was a cost to get in and carding everybody. And if you're a policeman, they get to know you, just like, and we get to walk around. And everybody, that's bullshit. Who is this? You get to walk by, but that was a lot of fun.
Steve Skippy Strail used to work down there.
Yeah. I didn't even know those guys, but they found out I was a policeman, and they didn't care. If you were a city policeman, they're like, come on, you ain't paying. Get in.
Does Mueller still work down there?
Yeah, on just soccer games, and him and Tony Abishon and Pierre Benoist, they work the crowd when there's soccer games because it's a good crowd.
Yeah, Maggie's was a big mobile, because mobile works till 2 o'clock. And,
right.
And then
you get better. Sometimes you get off a little early, and you get maybe an hour there at the most, but.
Yeah, we fly down there 100 miles an hour from 15th and Spruce.
Well, then you could always, then the lots would always open up after
right,
2,
right.
And, whether it was the foot of filer or
Oh God, yeah.
The foot of filer, or a lot of people, I think that came to an end on cop violence.
Unfortunately, me and John were in internal affairs when that ended.
Oh my God,
shit case.
I think I warned you the morning, because somebody had told me about it. Said, "You hear about that last night?"
You said, "Coming our way."
And then I called John. I go, "You hear anything about that?" Not yet. And then within like 5 minutes, John calls him back and goes, "Just heard about it. Apparently, it's waiting in my office."
Yeah, I was on complaints that day.
Yeah.
Well, Tom was the early warning detection system, because Tom, every rumor
he gets
everything that happened.
Well, Tom has people everywhere.
Oh yeah,
strategically.
plants everywhere.
I mean, Chief Mokwa used to call me and said, "Hey, I'm hearing something. Will you call Sawyer?" See if and Tom wasn't in intelligence. He was,
He hasn't. He knows more about what's going on in my police department than I do.
100%.
Oh yeah.
I heard this. I'm like, I think I might be right.
I think we summarized that
was our era.
That was our era, but there's more, and we can.
And there's just other places, like there's the first district. They hung out at Bailey Brothers,
Yeah.
a bunch of other different places. There's no way we can cover them all with.
Send them in though, if you think about it.
Whatever we miss, send it in. Make a comment on it. Because I know we forgot some, but it was in the fabric of us to meet and have fun like that.
And we're keeping it going.
Yeah, we're still doing it.
Yeah, we're not going to let it
Here
go.
we are every Thursday night.
It's not
Come
going to die
down
on our watch. Yeah.
Come down and join us.
Yeah, come down and join us.
You don't have to listen to us. You can just sit out there and bullshit until we're done.
Get one of the specials.
And then we'll be out there bullshitting with you.
Right.
Tommy,
Exactly.
what about our communities?
Communities that support law enforcement are safer places to live. We're out here. Peace.